might use music. Do some arm swings, keep the joints healthy, get the joints ready for some resistance training. Oh,
See any nice new shoes are going?
oh nice.
Oh, they're nice.
Lego ones.
I love
Oh
those.
yes, Lego.
That's so good.
Make sure you put those in the video.
So in NR2 PT's home gym, I'm going to do a push day with some quads and some calves. What I normally do is, a good routine is a push pull legs split, but like one of the key points you want to try and hit, or get as close to as possible if you're recovering well, is training each muscle group twice a week. But if you're doing push-pull legs, that could mean 6 gym sessions a week, which, you know, for some people is quite a lot. So what I try and do is distribute the leg days. So I do push-pull 4 times a week, and I just divide the leg days that I would do into those sessions. So I'm doing 4 sessions a week and trying to hit the same amount of volume worked for each muscle group, so each muscle group gets worked twice a week. That's the idea anyway. Rarely goes to plan. And if you're in NR2 PT's gym, you get some nice cable machines. So I'll take advantage of that, and I'm going to work the upper chest to start off with on these beautiful bow boy machine. You get a nice stretch on the upper chest. Started that off a bit quick. I'm going to slow down the reps towards the end and just try to, you have to remind yourself to keep the negative slow. And also on a machine like this, take advantage of getting a nice stretch. So to save time, I like to pair muscles up. I like to pair exercises up, which is known as supersetting. So I'm going to superset a chest exercise with a tricep exercise. Ideally you'll do opposing muscles, so like chest with a back muscle, but I'm doing it this way. So these are skull crushers, good for your triceps. Position. So control the eccentric, always remember that. And try and get a nice stretch on the muscle at the end. So control down and just try and get as much of a stretch at the end. Get that full range of motion. Why? Because if you're doing that, you're applying more tension on the muscle. So if you're only like do that, right, compared to that, full range of motion, the full range of motion is putting the muscle under tension for longer. So, over the course of time, that will build more muscle. Now, I'm not being counting, but I'm feeling it. Yep. Woo! Yep. Yep. Alright. Nope. Nope. There we go. So get full range, more time under tension, and also you're training a muscle that's full range of motion. You're just going to train it more. You're training it half its range of motion, you know, you're missing out on potential growth. Jason uses it. Now it's Jason's boat. I'm wearing a belt because I recently recovered from a lower back injury. You never know when it's going to go, so for now, I'm going to play it safe. Slow. That's it. Get a drop set. Drop set using this way. You just go a bit lighter right after your final top set, and it just helps work the muscle more. So you tailor the muscle more, which will help your body recover more in a hypertrophic way, if that's the word. But in a more muscle building way is what I mean. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Stay in. Roll back. Yeah. Mercury. That's disgusting. Gym terminology, that's disgusting, means that was really good. It's a good pump. Look at all this mess. Casio G-Shock. God tier level watch. Can't be a PT without G-Shock, can you?
What are you doing today? Is it upper body?
Yeah, upper body. Well, it's we call it a push day. So it's all your pushing muscles. So it's your chest, your triceps, your front of your shoulders will be included anyway. I won't really mention front of the shoulders. I won't be focusing on them this session. But that's really because they're being used. So on the chest exercise, front shoulders are being used. You know, so your shoulders are used. It's a very complex joint. It's used in a lot of the exercises we do anyway. So for this session, you won't hear me say, "Oh, this exercise is specifically for the front and the shoulders," because it's being used anyway in the big compounds. So, but yeah, within chest, triceps, indirectly front and the shoulders, and then we'll do some quads and finish off with some calf raises, just so they're included. We are going to do some flies. We're going to do dumbbell flies. We're going to hit the center pec, and then we're going to do some tricep extensions. So you might think, isn't that very similar to skull crushers? Yes, but here you get an extremely good stretch on the tricep, which is important for growth, and skull crushers had like a hammer grip on them, whereas this is going to have pronated grip. So it targets the triceps differently, but that's the main differences. The main thing is, to be honest, you get such a good stretch on this tricep exercise, which I think some people call it a French press. I just call it an overhead tricep extension. Scientifically proven that using chalk gets you more gains. Facts. And as you can tell, I don't use chalk that much. Right. But in seriousness, if your grip's one less thing to worry about, that's more capacity to focus on the exercise and the muscle you're trying to target. for me, I really don't need that much weight for triceps. For this one anyway. Bar weight's 20, so that's already 10 kilos on each arm. So I put a few on, but like, for me, like controlling the weight and getting a nice stretch at the end of the eccentric, which is the downward movement, normally gives me a good pump. Right, a couple points, so like flat flies, you might be thinking, why is he not going all the way in? Dumbbells, flat fly dumbbells, for me, like, they're not really a full range of motion exercise, because like when you get like up to here, working your way in, the weight's not really on the chest anymore. It's not applying tension to the chest. That's all like, you know, it's gone. So like, but like here to here, it's tension on the stress. And because this is a kind of like a bodybuilder routine, we're focusing on time under tension. So I'm just focusing on that part of the exercise. I ain't going all the way in. I'm just doing partial reps, because that's where I feel the tension. That's where I want to put the most time in. For this, like, when I started out, my elbows were quite flared. Alright, and then towards the end, or halfway through, I tried to bring them in. So some people will argue, do what feels natural so the elbows naturally go out, then do that. Some people argue you want to try and keep your elbows in, because then you get better tension on the triceps. Just do what feels natural. Obviously, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. You might find that this exercise, your shoulders, your mobility of your shoulders might actually dictate how well you do that exercise, to the point where you might not even want to do it because your shoulders just don't agree with it. God damn it. That's disgusting, that is. He just wants to be on camera for a second. That's what that was. So like I said, the dumbbells, they don't give you full range of, they don't give you tension throughout the whole range of motion, whereas if I was to do cables, like flat flies and cables, that one you could go all the way in and get a squeeze here. Well, that's because cables give you resistance throughout the whole range of motion, whereas a dumbbell doesn't. It's nice to mix them up though, because obviously you do dumbbells, you're then training your, you know, your supporting muscles that help you balance the weight, which is also good. Whereas cables, it eliminates that a bit, which is good for some things, you know, pros and cons. Straight into the drop height. Cheeky drop, eh? You're getting some right good shots in my face.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
I feel like that scene
It's mostly your beard and your chest and nothing else. Literally can't get over the biggest features that you have.
Well, you can't even see my nose.
Not really.
Oh, it's a big feature. Yeah! Ah! You know it. Ah! 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 Oh. Ooh, look at that form. Ah, that's much better. Ah. So to get better form, I had to do what's known as a suicide grip. Really, like it's like a super suicide grip. It's like proper like rotate my hands out so I can really get more aligned arm movement, so there's less like elbows sticking out. But do it at your own risk. It's called the suicide grip for a reason. Damn it! I'm just going to do some side lats. I incorporate side lats, side delts into my push days as well. It's like, where else are you going to put them? And then we'll move on to some quads on here and on here. And then that'll be pretty much it. Do calves for like, you know, that's not that exciting, but quite essential, especially for me. So I snapped my Achilles a couple of years ago now. Is it a couple of years?
Yeah, a couple of years.
So that's a good one. It's just like, that's taking ages to get this back, like to be able to lift my whole body up. It's taking ages. But grateful to be able to walk and run. So I'm happy with that. We're going to use a cable machine, because if you've got a cable machine and you're doing side delts, use the cable machine, because side delts is a bit like flies. So you get side delts, so like not much side delt working, a lot of side delt working. So like it's another partial movement. So if you're doing dumbbells, you're only really going to come down like to like there, because here there's no point really, unless you sort of like do a lean. Then you can get great range of motion.
I can't get you in.
That's right. Just film it down. Whereas cables, like I said, the cables, because it's pulling on the weights through a pulley system, you get full tension, constant tension throughout the full range of motion. So you got a cable machine, access to one, and you're going to do side delts, you might as well use a cable machine. So full range of motion, constant tension. Try and like make sure your elbow's going up before your hand. It just helps keep the tension on your middle shoulder muscle. I'll do calf raises. I'll super as calf raises. So because like that's as hard as I can go on my recovering calf muscle, I use my good calf to help me get to the top, and then I just try and control the eccentric as much as possible, and then do a partial concentric, get the support in, then do a full eccentric on the injured one, and that way I can help it work towards getting that strength back by getting that eccentric in. You can apply that to any exercise. So say you can't do a pull-up, what you can do though is use something or jump, so you're at the top, holding yourself at the top of the bar, and then just try and control yourself down. So even if you can't pull yourself up, if you can get yourself to the top and you can control yourself down, that will still be helping you work towards getting that full range of motion on that exercise. But I start on the weakest muscle, so I then replicate that on a good muscle, whereas if I start on a good muscle, the weaker muscle ain't going to be able to do as many reps. So try and start with your weakest muscle when you're training each side individually. And you do calves like this, where you go all the way down. You train the muscle in its stretched position, which as I've been banging on throughout this whole session, is good for hypertrophy, or some people say hypertrophy. I do it the American way, I say hypertrophy. give you a nice flat sole, gives you a great foundation for resistance training. I try and aim my sessions to be between an hour and an hour and a half. If I'm not distributing my leg exercises into my push and pull days, I can get a session done between 45 minutes and an hour if I'm being really good with my breaks, which is great for timekeeping. But with legs, if I'm being good with time, it's usually, you know, an hour towards an hour and a half. Right, last set on these. That's well done. Right, I had an idea for doing calves, which I don't normally get to do at home. So these are also something you can do. It's just a nice variation. Most public gyms will have a machine version of this where you can get a full stretch on the calves.
Well, this is a proper gym.
Is that? Huh? I said, like public gyms. What did I say?
You said proper gyms.
I said public gyms.
You said proper gyms.
I said public.
You did say proper.
I said public.
Well,
I meant
I guess
public.
you can rewind it back.
This is a private gym. I said public.
You said
I
proper.
will rewind it in the edit. Prove you wrong, Wolf.
I will rewind it and prove you wrong, Wilkinson.
This is a private gym. Oh, that's the plan though. Oh. Should always put your weights back, but. Right. The quads. Where was I? Right, quads. So the cable on. The plates on and the cable on. As it's a plate machine, like I was banging on about the other exercises, you get resistance like at the top part of the angle, but at the bottom bit it kind of drops off. So we put the cable on, so it helps with resistance throughout the whole range of motion. And that's how we do the quad extension, leg extension in NR2 PT's gym. Lock this back so you get full range of motion. So as far back as comfortable, so you get full range of motion when you extend your legs up. And you pop in, hold it down. Let's go. Oh yeah, that's good. Try and control that eccentric. Now I'm going to show you hack squats. In bodybuilding, because it's not technically weightlifting or powerlifting or or strongman or anything like that, because it's all about time under tension, resistance, it's about working that second anaerobic energy system. So basically the body doesn't know what weight you're lifting. So if you've got lighter weight, which might be a bit too light for you, you can just go slower, slow down the eccentric and the concentric, and that will apply more stress on the muscles, which will still be working towards that box we're trying to tick when we train hypertrophy or muscle growth. Okay, so let me put that theory to the test. Oh, it's disgusting. Me. To be honest, you can probably get a pump without any weight on that. Jesus. So that's the thing in like bodybuilding, like when it comes to weightlifting disciplines, you've got they all tend, whether it's strongman, powerlifting, bodybuilding, body weight. Body weight, bodybuilding. They all tend to evolve around a key principle, which is progressive overload, which is pretty much like harder than last time sort of principle. So you're always going up in weight. But in bodybuilding, because it's targeting, it's just focusing on that anaerobic energy system, which is like the glucose stores in your muscles. You can target that by going slower, doing more reps, better mind-muscle connection, going up in weight, more varied ways you can target that energy system and more ways to approach an exercise. As long as you're doing something like harder than last time, you're kind of still doing progressive overload with bodybuilding. So some people do leg day on Monday, so then all the other days get all that extra hormones, apparently. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm feeling that because pretty exhausting on this. We're already working the quads on that, then moving on to the quads on that. That's like a superset, but you're also pre-exhausting the targeted muscle. So this is gonna feel even worse. Some people like that. Some people do it smarter. Some people like to pre-exhaust their chest before moving on to the bench press, because a lot of times on the bench press, it's the front of your shoulders that gives up first. So they pre-exhaust the chest with some flies, and then they go straight to the bench press, because then the chest is more likely to work to failure rather than the shoulders. So you're getting more engagement on the actual muscle you want to work. That's the theory anyway. But I'm literally doing this for time. Yeah, a schedule to keep up with. As soon as I hit legs, this water goes. you do upper body, the water goes down slowly. You hit legs, that thing disappears. Good thing about this exercise, you notice on that, I'm only going down 90 degrees. You're missing out on quad. Whereas here, you go all the way back, you're getting more quad. Obviously, on this, my glutes are also firing as well. It's a compound movement, where so I'm focusing on the quads, but I'm also getting the supportive muscles in, which is helpful, you know, because your legs are, all muscles kind of are designed to work in compound movements, so it's good. Whereas that's just isolated, which is great for bodybuilding. I think I was talking, made it worse. Oh, that's it. I'm done. Obviously, don't forget to stretch afterwards, which I always remember to do. Very important.